Don't want to be under a spell.
Testing,
Ha ha ha.
testing.
I can hear you.
Good. Okay. I love your mug. Let me see it again. That is so cute.
Isn't it cute? Ah,
Oh my gosh. It's so April has this black mug. It's like
has
an
little ghosties
oversized.
all over it.
Yeah, it has little ghosts and it says boo and it's orange and black and white.
It's an
That's a
extra large mug too.
yeah.
Well,
That's really
it's
cute.
like the size of my head.
Yeah. What do you have inside of it though?
Um, Salted caramel
Try
coffee.
not to swear this time.
I know. Salted caramel coffee. And mother, just kidding. And what is it called? Rum chata.
Oh, rum chata.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Mhm,
It's
mhm.
good. It's very good.
Nice. I'm drinking exactly what I was drinking last time. And if Mountain Dew wants to sponsor us, their frostbite flavor. Oh my
Big
gosh. And I
shot podcasters.
found out, guess what flavor this is?
What? Blue.
Antelope and honeydew.
Cantaloupe and honeydew.
That's what the internet says. Okay,
Oh,
so you
so
have big plans coming up.
oh my
And when this comes up,
gosh.
you're gonna be coasting on the waters.
Yeah, I will be in the
Oh.
Bahamas and I'm not as nervous about like being in the Bahamas without Josh as I was before. My
Okay.
new panic is getting there.
Oh, like the
So,
flight?
so we're taking Spirit Airlines,
Okay.
which I don't know anything about. I've always taken Delta with flying.
I think we took Spirit when we went to Hawaii the last time.
Did we?
I mean me and Mitch.
Oh, we took Delta. Anyway, I've just heard
Anyway.
really bad things about them
Hmm.
with charging you more for whatever.
Yeah.
So, I'm a little panicky because like so the maximum bag size is like a total of 62 inches, right? And I like for a checked bag.
Okay.
And my whatchamacallit, my
Carry
biggest
on.
bag that
Oh,
everything, because I'm bringing bachelorette party stuff as
right.
well as my own things. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's taking up a lot of room. So I have to bring my biggest bag, which is exactly 62 inches. And I feel like they're going to say, it's 63. Let's charge her $50 to get this thing on.
Mm.
I'll like to charge extra because it's like exactly 62.
Yeah, that would really bite.
It would just suck if they
But
charged me more.
I
You
don't
know?
think they would do that though. I feel like people, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I could see it either way, but
I'm just
hopefully your
convinced it's
good
something
karma
really
rolls
good.
around and they don't try to charge you based off of centimeters, you know?
Well, but then I'm the one who booked the van from the hotel because we're going one day early
Hmm.
and then staying the night at the hotel next to the airport. And then I booked the van from the hotel to the port to the ship, then from the ship to the airport when we get back. And
Okay.
I scheduled that for all nine of us. And I'm
Whoa.
like, I've checked it. I don't know how many times to make sure I have the right dates, the right number of people, the right like times. Oh,
It's, you know,
I just don't want to
here's
be
the
the
thing.
one who ruins something because I'm an idiot.
I don't know, I feel like I've said this before on the pod, but every trip has one disaster.
I know I don't want to be the cause of that disaster.
Well, you know what though? Even if you are, just know that there has to be one thing. And
Well, I'll
if you
report
are
back what the
involved,
disaster is.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna find out.
It's either the van or the bachelorette party like flops and everyone hates it.
Um, no, I don't think that's gonna be the problem.
But I don't know what to do to make it fun.
It's you're having fun already. Like
I
nothing's
know.
gonna be a buzzkill. I don't like if that's what you're worried about. I think whatever you have planned, it's gonna be great. Everyone's there to have a good time. It's like the last hurrah, and you're there to be the hype girl. So
I'm not convinced.
just throw glitter every once in a while and be like, see how fun this is?
Yeah, this is great.
That's what
Confetti.
I would do. Yeah, so next episode, episode 28, you guys will hear how the cruise went.
The cruise went. Then the one
Yeah,
after that, you can hear about my speech and how
hear a speech.
I am.
Maybe,
I'm running out of air thinking about it. Like it's stressing me out.
if you have any jokes that you want to like land, maybe practice it on your crowd while they're drunk on the cruise. And if they laugh, you got the green light. But if they don't laugh, then you can be like, okay, I'm just gonna go drown myself.
Okay, I'm jumping ship.
Yeah.
I'm like so I don't know. This is my this is my fear.
Tell us your fears.
Deep down inside, my biggest fear is that I'll do this thing that I want to do, and everyone will just stare at me like that was awkward.
Like you get crickets.
Like crickets. And then I'm gonna have to run as fast as I can away.
Okay.
Like I'm not kidding. I will book
You
it.
you need to stage people in the audience to laugh.
I'm gonna be like, Whitney, you have to laugh. Shelby, you have to cheer.
Yeah,
All the bridesmaids have to be my hype people because like
right.
if I hear zero things, I might throw up.
That sounds really exciting and fun.
Well, we'll see. I'll either throw up, shit my pants, or just run away crying. So, well, do you want to hear my story?
I do want to hear your story.
You're gonna love it.
Great.
Have you, let's see. No, you know what? I'm not even gonna tell you what I titled it as because I want you to
Okay.
hear it. The Haynie family had been living in Grantsville, Utah, just 35 miles west-ish of Salt Lake City. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm familiar.
legit. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, they had been living in Grantsville, Utah, since 2010. Sorry, I'm trying to get things away from my screen.
You
Okay.
say they had lived there since 2010?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, Alejandra, who is the mom, and Colin, who is the dad, had 5 children. Danny, who is attending UVU College, Utah Valley University. CJ, who was Colin Jeffrey, so named after the dad. But anyways, CJ
Mhm.
is 16, Alexis 15, Matthew 14, and Milan 12. Okay.
Okay.
Bunch of babies right after another. Holy moly.
Yeah.
But the Haneys were a religious family. They were active in their LDS ward in the community. And those who knew them in the community described them as kind, giving, and well loved. The kids were described as quiet, shy, intelligent, and kind by neighbors. They were homeschooled up until recently and just began attending in person schooling with their peers. They
Okay.
were known to have fun, lively neighborhood parties. And on social media, the older brother Danny had posted his family and siblings often. He captioned one saying, quote, "The greatest gift our parents gave us was each other." And so we can get from this picture that the Haneys were a tight-knit, loving family.
Yeah.
But on January 17th, 2020, the family woke up, went to school and work like any other Friday, but by that evening, most of them wouldn't make it to the weekend.
What? Why? What
Let me tell
happened?
ya. Alejandra, the mom, picked up 12-year-old Milan from school around 1 p.m. As I walked in the door, they were greeted by multiple rounds from a handgun to their heads, neck, and upper bodies.
Oh my gosh.
Around 2 p.m., 15-year-old Alexis came home from school somewhere between 2 and 5 p.m. Alexis met the same fate, multiple gunshots to her head and upper body.
Oh my gosh.
Around 5:17 p.m., 14-year-old Matthew got home, and he was murdered by a single gunshot wound to the head.
Whoa.
About an hour later, at 6:15, Colin, the dad, arrived home. He was shot in the leg. He looked up only to see his son, 16-year-old CJ, with a gun.
Oh my gosh. Why?
I know, right? Colin struggled to get the gun away from CJ and was hit in the head with some blunt object that they weren't
Yeah.
sure what it was. And it caused a big gash in his head. Colin was able to get the gun away from CJ, and he said, Your mother would be sorry. He said, Your mother would be sad if you killed me. Then CJ told his dad that his mother and siblings were already dead and that he wanted to kill everyone in the house except himself.
Well, wait, so you might answer this later, but if the dad walked in and didn't see a bunch of dead bodies there, that means that he probably moved them, right?
I don't know. I don't know because I think
Oh,
he must have. Yes,
okay.
he must have. But it doesn't. I was really annoyed because there wasn't a lot of detail,
Mm,
and I hate
yeah,
that. But I also
right.
kind of understand why they don't put a lot of detail.
No, you froze. Oh,
So
you
we're gonna.
didn't freeze.
Oh,
Oh,
you're back.
oh, you're back. Okay.
I'm gonna freaking lose my mind. We're gonna have to hurry through these stories.
Okay,
Oh my
okay.
gosh. Okay.
Yep.
So before anyone called 911, a family friend stopped by to drop something off. Unaware of the gruesome scene inside, Colin, the dad, asked this neighbor, family friend person, to drive them to the hospital.
Yeah.
Colin, I thought this was weird that he didn't like call 911 himself. That
Yeah.
was weird to me that he wasn't immediately like 911.
Wait, so how did the whole commotion end again? So the dad
So,
walks in, he gets shot in the leg. Then
yeah.
he gets hit in the back of the head with the gash. Then what happened?
Then the dad got the gun away from CJ and said, Your mother would be sad if you killed me. And that's when CJ told his dad that his mom and his siblings were already dead and that he wanted to kill everyone in the house but himself.
Oh, I see.
And
Yeah.
then, like, almost immediately after that struggle, the family friend knocked on the door.
Oh, okay. I see. I see.
And then he was like, Can you take us to the hospital? Right?
Ah, yeah.
Which I was like,
Oh,
I would.
sorry, one sec. One sec. You can guess where she came from.
Doggy door.
Yeah. Say hi. Hi.
Hi.
So
Hello.
what you doing?
There's Billy.
Where's Philly?
He's at home.
Did you have a bath?
Yes.
You're so clean
Want to see
smelling.
Cooper? Cooper, come
I
here.
have fire in my hands.
You have fire in your hands?
Yes. It actually scared me.
Oh,
All
well,
right, can you go back inside?
Yes. I
Okay.
want to play my bikes.
No, go back inside. All right, go ahead.
don't you dare pee up there, Cooper. Get down. Okay. Okay. So this family friend takes him to the hospital, right? And in the
Right.
car, CJ says, Yeah. Or so he's like, What's going on? Like, the dad's bleeding in his leg and has a gash in his head. And the friend's like, Well,
Yeah.
okay. And CJ's
Yeah.
just like quiet and awkward in the car after he just murdered his entire family and says, "Yeah, I just killed everybody in my family." And the neighbor was like, 911.
Yeah, we have an
Like,
emergency.
yeah, this is not okay. And the dad, I
Uh,
feel like, was way too
shocked.
I don't know what his deal was because I'm like, I would have called 911 instead of say, hey, let's go to the hospital for myself. You know what I mean? Like I would have
Yeah.
one before, or I would have said, hey, this is happening. Call 911. My entire family has been murdered. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I just thought
Right.
the reasoning of just saying, hey, will you take us to the hospital? Like it's all casual and whatever. I wonder if the dad was
Yeah, that is.
to not get the kid in trouble.
But also, it's like, how could he not get in trouble inevitably? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he's gonna get in trouble. Like, there's no
No.
way to save him from the amount of trouble he already got himself in.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Whoa, you have transformed your surroundings.
I'm
So
inside.
if you're watching, so you're on Patreon, you'll see that April has a whole new sweatshirt on. She has a whole new background. It's nighttime.
My office is a mess because I wasn't prepared for this. I
Got
was
it.
cold, so I got a hoodie. So
That's the way to be. That's the way to be. It's all right. Technical difficulties. The internet just went kaput on April's end, so she had to go somewhere internet safe.
but not even safe. Our internet sucks ass these days, and I don't know what to do about it. I cannot control.
Well, it's okay. You know what? Worst case scenario, you just get through your story. Maybe I'll record my story and then you can just record your reactions to
Oh,
it.
wow, what? Um,
Just
I think
kidding.
I think this is safe.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
We've rebooted everything. I'm not out in the yard. So
Nice. Hey,
I
and you won't get eaten by mosquitoes.
yeah,
Which,
that
by
is
the
nice.
way, guys, April's bugs at her house are no joke. I was there last night. I was eaten alive by those damn things.
And you were outside for like what, 5 minutes?
Yeah, and like there's a mosquito right here right now, but I just swatted it away, no problem. But the ones at April's house are vicious. They are out for blood, actual blood. They are
Yeah.
vampires in the night.
Mm-hmm. They're there for, you know,
It
the real
was
deal.
it was awful, and I'm so sorry you have to live with that. So
Because, it sucks.
I'm
Okay.
glad that you're inside where it's safe. So
Yeah. My attitude though sucks right now. So I'm sorry for that. Okay.
you know what? It's okay. It's all good. Just
Let's start over. Did it just freeze?
did. Okay, just go. Just go. We're never gonna get through this if we don't just
Okay, let's go. Let's
power
move on.
through.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the neighbor called 911 in the car after CJ was like, I killed everybody. So
Yeah,
he was like, 911, there's an emergency.
you're right.
So let's see, I lost my place. Okay.
Hmm.
Once they got to the hospital for Cullen, the dad, to be treated for his wounds, the police met them there, and CJ was arrested at the hospital. He was pretty uncooperative with the authorities, other than confessing to what happened. Like he did say, this is what happened. Like I killed them. And I just sat and waited for everyone to get home, and I shot them when they got home.
Did he share
No.
why?
No. That's the
No.
only thing they could not get out of him is his motive. I mean, like, they don't know.
And he's
Um,
16.
16.
Huh.
So let's see. The Grantsville Police Corporal Fields, he said, quote, "There's absolutely not one," referring to a motive. "I haven't seen anything that would satisfy my inquiry as to what could have led to it. No one felt like they had an indication that anything was wrong. So it's making a lot of people reflect on what we believe, and what we see isn't always what is actually going on." End quote.
Interesting.
Right. So CJ is being held at a juvenile detention center despite being charged as an adult. So he's 16, so he can be charged as an adult, but there's something in Utah that allows juveniles that commit heinous crimes like this.
Yeah.
There's a program that allows them to be in juvenile court or in the detention center.
Okay. Just like in
Until
hopes that there's recovery, I
yeah,
guess.
they have like stuff like counseling. They have schooling still happening. They have stuff
Yeah.
like that for youth, but it could be up to 25 years old as well, depending on the situation.
I see.
But anyway, so he's being charged as an adult with 4 counts of aggravated murder, 1 count of attempted murder, and 5 counts of felony discharge of a firearm. So he faces a maximum sentence of 25 years to life without the possibility of parole. Though because he's 16, it's likely he won't get that sentencing. But that is the maximum possibility.
Damn.
So
I
while
don't know. I feel like 25 years just isn't enough when it's your whole family.
yeah, he annihilated his entire family.
Yeah.
But
Like, you
he's
think it'd be
16 years
25
old.
years per person.
Well, so you think about it, it's hard because if it was your kid and he was 16 years old, going through a troubling time and like lost his mind, you would hope that there would be a possibility of redeeming his character. You know what I mean? Like there
Yeah.
has to be a way that he could come back from that because he's so young. But it just like that's why I wish he would explain his motive, is so we could have an idea of like, okay, well, why did he do it? Is it just because he thought it'd be fun?
Right.
Or is it because he,
Like,
you
was he
know,
influenced by something? Or like
right.
literally on drugs? Or
Yeah. Like there are so many factors that could kind of come into play if we just knew what his motive was.
yeah.
So while waiting for sentencing, which is still scheduled for December of 2022, the community rallied around Colin, the dad, and CJ's older brother Danny. Because he was at UVU, he was not there. He wasn't hurt.
I see.
Colin did recover. The community raised over $19,000 for the Haynie family funeral expenses and to repair damage to the home.
Wow.
The obituaries read, quote, "Alejandra Haynie was raised in Chihuahua, Mexico on May 8th, 1967. She was a loving mother to her children and loved to prepare delicious meals and desserts. She also loved to garden and care for her fruit trees. She was always willing to help out and serve people in the ward and the community." Alexis was born in Bountiful, Utah on September 18th, 2004. She was a freshman at Grantsville High School and was the goalie on the high school girls junior varsity soccer team.
Mm.
Alexis was an accomplished artist and loved to play piano. Other interests included Lord of the Rings and playing with her siblings and friends.
Wow.
Matthew Haynie was born in Bountiful, Utah on October 21st, 2005. He was an 8th grader at Excelsior Junior High and was
Yeah.
well liked by his teachers and peers. He enjoyed playing soccer, wrestling, playing chess, and anything to do with Star Wars and gaining, quote, the high ground.
Hmm.
Milan Haynie was born in Bountiful, Utah, also on April 5th, 2007. She was in seventh grade at Excelsior Junior High. She wanted to be
Mhm.
an engineer, enjoyed playing soccer, volleyball, and creating art with her sister, taking a specialized interest in superheroes. She liked to leave loving, encouraging notes signed, quote, from so and so. They
Aw.
are survived by their father and husband, Colin Haynie, and brothers and sons, Danny Haynie and CJ Haynie. Um,
Wow.
their services were held January 24th in 2020. Colin ended up speaking at the services, which I don't think I could do.
No.
I hope I'm never asked to do that for anybody. I can't. I will not.
You can't even do it for a wedding.
And they're alive and well.
Yeah. Everything's fine. Everything's happy and peachy, and I still
Ever
can't.
like it's a great day and I can't make it through. So
Right.
it'll be quite an interesting situation. But oh, kudos
Man.
to him though. Like that would be so tough.
Yeah.
At the services, he said, quote, "This felt like a hard thing for my family, but as the support of the community has reached out to comfort us, it has become very clear it's more than just a family matter, it's a community matter. As I was leaving the hospital, I drove past the junior high where Matthew and Milan attended. It triggered feelings within me. Then I decided it's a choice, choosing to remember the good things." Um, Danny also spoke at his mom and sibling services, sharing memories with each of them. As you can
Wow.
remember, he had social media posts, like his siblings and like entire family were spread across all of his social media. Like he loved his family.
Yeah.
And so he had a bunch of like good stories with them and like shared like, really heartfelt messages about who they were and kind of trying to keep it light but good happy
It'd be
stories.
so hard to do. Oh my
I
gosh.
I could not.
I
And
could not do that. Not
to
in a
know
million
that your
years.
brother was the one who like removed them from the earth, like
Mm-hmm.
that would be such a hard concept to grasp. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I would have so much like contentment.
Shock.
Like
Yeah.
what could you say? Like I can't imagine the strength it takes to like forgive that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And to
Oh,
like
I know what you mean.
and move past
Yeah.
it. Like it makes you almost feel like if they can forgive CJ for what he did, like
Like,
maybe
what am
I
I so upset about?
maybe I can possibly like not hate everybody for everything they do. You know.
Yeah,
Um
I know what you mean.
but so Danny said during his services speech, he said, quote, "Part of me feels like I lost CJ, but he's still here and he will always be my little brother." That would be
Mm,
so hard. Um, on July 19th, 2022, CJ, who is now 19, so just last month,
yeah.
he entered his guilty plea on the murders of his mother and two sisters and his brother.
Okay.
He pled guilty to the 4 counts of aggravated murder and the 1 count of attempted murder, but the additional 5 counts of the discharge of a firearm, they were dismissed as a part of the plea deal.
Hmm.
And his sentencing is scheduled for December 7th of this year. So we'll be paying attention to that
Interesting.
to see what happens.
Yeah.
This was kind of all over like national news because it was the first mass shooting of 2020.
Oh.
Happened in January,
Oh, that was the
January
worst
17th.
year.
I know.
Or
I
was
feel
it the worst year? Like,
I don't
oh
know,
my
man. I
gosh.
feel like they keep getting kind of shitty as it goes, but
Yeah.
like it's just like it
It's the,
was just such a big
wow.
thing. And after like after, okay, in 2020, right?
Mhm.
I don't remember how many mass shootings we had, but then you come to like this last year and we had that one in Texas, right? And you
Right.
think, what are the signs? You know what I mean? Like this
Hmm.
kid, like his dad and his brother talked about how like they didn't know that this was even a possibility. He was quiet and reserved. He had been homeschooled and went to be in regular school with a bunch of kids. Is that because he was isolated and he was being picked on and bullied? But would,
Yeah.
like,
See?
in my opinion, I would think, wouldn't you then target those bullying you and not your family? Unless there's
Yeah.
resentment from, you kept me from trying to make friends. And so
Like you're the
obviously,
reason I'm getting bullied.
but then you'd think it would only be the parents. Why go after his siblings as
Well,
well?
and then also he said that he was his plan was that he was gonna kill everybody except for himself,
Yeah,
right? So it's like, what was his plan after that?
right. Like, how is he
Because
gonna move on from he goes to from point A to point B, but then how
uh-huh.
does he get from point B to point C?
Yeah, because the neighbor coming in was against his plan completely,
Yeah,
right? So like what was he gonna like what did he think was gonna happen? Was he gonna wait for his other brother to come home and then he was just gonna try and disappear?
I
You
don't
know?
know.
It's like, but why?
And that's something that's
That's a
getting me is what is the why behind it?
yeah. Well, especially because he had to wait in between each killing, you
Yeah,
know?
and hours.
Yeah. So he had time to like come to if he like saw red and like, went nuts
Yeah,
or whatever. I don't really know how that really happens, but like if that were the argument, he had hours in between that you just think that maybe during that time did he ever think, wait, what am I doing? I can stop now, you know?
yeah.
So, but the fact that he kept going and was confident enough to keep killing, then
That makes me think he had this plan for a long time
yeah,
and that he knew what he was gonna do. I feel
right.
like because he's not talking about motive, I wonder if he had a plan, like you were saying, after everyone is taken out, that
Hmm.
he had people that knew what was going on and that they were a part of the plan and a part of his getting out.
Escape plan.
So what I'm assuming, because he still hasn't said why, and
Yeah.
maybe that'll come at the sentencing hearing, and I kind of hope we get a little bit more of why, right?
Hmm.
But I wonder if he was a part of like online chat rooms, if he was a like befriended some sketchy people, and he was like, in order for me to be with them, this is what I have to do because I'm only 16, my parents won't let me leave the house, whatever, like I have to take them out if I want to live the life I want, type of thing.
That
or
is so scary. If
or
that's if that's what happened, that is
right,
so
or
scary.
hit like these people put in these dark thoughts of like it could be like extremism of a ideology of some kind, could be
Yeah.
extremism of like like a this sounds really bad, but I kind of wonder if it was like a catfish situation and a woman or someone was posing as like a love interest and said, listen, we got to be together, this is the only way we can be together. He was
Hmm.
16, you know. I
Yeah.
feel like at that age you're so impressionable,
Yep.
and like especially online, and if you've been homeschooled,
I was
I
just gonna
kind of
say,
like you don't have a
yeah.
whole lot of outside experience of like what to
Well,
expect some
and
people.
LDS, right?
And
That's
LDS, so
isolating in and of itself.
right. And
So,
Grantsville is a small town.
yeah,
So
so even if he did get out, or if he had a job, did he have a job?
no, not
Oh,
that I could tell.
but even if he like went out, it's like, what are you gonna see? You
Right.
know, to Willa. That's
Oh,
not much, okay?
right.
Really not. Like the
The
golf
salt
course is the
flats.
best. Yeah, salt flats. The things that like are free are the most
Right.
impressive things.
Right. And
So I can see how that would be very isolating in like every
yeah.
direction, you know?
Yeah. But then what are the signs though? That like as a
Right.
parent or a teacher or whatever, like that's what scares me is like what are the signs? Are there signs? I mean, like just because someone, thinks that they're emo or whatever, that doesn't mean they're going to go shoot up a school, you
Right.
know? But what are the signs that we can look for like some kind of extremism, like monitoring freaking internet
Don't they
usage? But
don't they say that like the best way to like prevent it is by getting those people to talk, you know? It's the people that are probably just so like if they are isolated, maybe it's just that they're like isolating within themselves even and not expressing their thoughts and feelings. So it's getting
yeah,
like, compressed so much that one day they're gonna explode. And
right,
how big that explosion is, you can never know.
right,
So I guess that's the best way is if you're suspecting that there might be a problem, get that person to talk,
well,
about anything.
yeah, like this is gonna sound, and I don't want to be like parent blaming or anything like that. I'm just saying
Mhm.
I am so nervous about what my kids experience in school, with friends, on the bus, anything like that, that when they come home, like, tell me everything,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Like
and
who
they're
did you
like,
sit by at lunch?
yeah,
Did they talk to you? Did they like what you had for lunch? Did you like what they had for lunch?
yeah. Did you guys trade snacks? Like, what happened? Was there drama with who got what snacks? Like, I need to know everything. But
Yeah.
like I've tried to be annoying like that and have them used to it at an early age so that
Yeah.
when they're like actually going through things that it's like, okay, I can talk to my mom about this. I don't know if that's the right path to go and how that's like how I open the door. Cause honestly, I didn't tell mom everything, but I just go
Mhm.
sit on her bed. We'd watch Lifetime movies and I talk about the
Mhm.
drama with my friends, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, how did she open that door and to make us so comfortable to do that? I don't know. But I
Well, and
didn't
then
tell her the scary stuff, obviously.
yeah, right. But I feel like that's also how she knew what we were up to, you know? If we
Yeah.
never went to her and talked to her about our friends and what we were doing in class, like she wouldn't have known anything. She really
True.
wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So like I think that it helps that we were so talkative, you know,
Yeah. We're just
about
like,
what's going on. Like well,
yeah.
April's not around, so you're just gonna have to listen to this. And she'd like roll her eyes and pause her American Idol and be like, okay, what? Or pause Lost.
Lost, SVU, whatever
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Yep,
Lifetime.
exactly. So I guess just getting them to talk is probably the best way, you know?
And then first signs of trouble, freaking get them to a therapist because, like,
Which
you know,
can be a counselor, which we talked about. A school counselor.
imagine
Wow.
my surprise
Yeah,
outside of school where I'm like, you can do that? Like,
right.
what?
Like that was there for my
What a weird
usage
concept.
the entire time and I didn't take advantage. Wow.
I know. And I feel like I wonder if counselors are like, I'm kind of glad people don't come to me about their nonsense. But then
Right.
also, they're like, I went to school to help kids get like their college classes figured out. Like, this is lame.
Yeah, no, I only went there when I had to like switch my classes around. Like, I don't
Yeah.
like this teacher. Can I be in this period instead?
The only time I've ever gone to a counselor in high school was only to for them to tell me what colleges I could apply for. Like,
Like based on your GPA, you're good enough for Dixie.
based on your stupidity, you can go to Dixie State College or Salt Lake Community College.
Yeah.
I was like, dope. Let's go as far away as I can.
Yeah, like is there palm trees there?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is it hot and I hate it? Let's do it. I move out on my own. Sweet. Anyways, that's my story. I know it was really
Yeah, good
short,
job.
but it was kind of sketch.
Yeah, that's it. It opens up the conversation though of like, how would you know? You know,
Yeah,
and
like
do
that.
you really know someone? You know, because like, what if he really did have signs of this or that, and like people just shrugged it off, like, oh, whatever, it's just a phase.
Or
And
weren't
it's like,
paying
you know,
attention.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like, pay attention to your people, you know, because
Yeah.
you never know what's going on in their brain.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's
like
scary.
a really terrifying thought, is just like you don't know what they're struggling with. Will they tell their parents? Will they talk to a friend? Will that friend do anything? Will the parents do anything? And then what are the consequences of that down the line,
Hmm.
of how you handle it, how your friends react, how they handle it. I feel like there are so many little factors of like how people treat you when you're going through something difficult,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
where does that lead you. A lot of the time I
Yes.
bet it leads to decisions that could have been made differently if someone would have cared a little bit more or
Right.
paid
Or had
attention a little more.
patience for it. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, well, are you
What
ready
a
for my
downer
story?
story. Yeah,
I know.
is it
For
better than
real.
mine? Say
Uh,
yes.
eh,
Like, is
yeah,
it depressing?
I don't think so.
Okay, well then that's all I need.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, first, I forgot to say, because it's in my notes, so I don't like think about it until I see it, which is
Mhm.
halfway through the episode. But we are almost to Labor Day, so happy Labor Day weekend, everybody.
Oh yeah, are you doing anything fun for Labor Day?
No, not at all.
That
Mm,
sucks.
yeah.
I'll be in
So
Bahamas.
I know you'll be out on the open waters drinking Mai Tais, so that's
Mai
cool.
tais or sex on the beach or
Yep. Wear sunscreen. Skin cancer is real, and it
I'm not
comes
worried
for us
about
all. Okay.
it.
So I want to say that September is when I start decorating for Halloween.
Same.
Right. So you all can expect that the next few episodes I'm going to be in the spooky season. Okay. So this episode I wanted to, hey, yes, April is, if you are watching this, April just flashed us her pumpkin skeleton boob sweatshirt and her mug that we talked about that is really cute and festive. So
Yep.
anyway, all right. Have you ever heard of the Fielding Garr Ranch?
No.
Okay. It's in Syracuse, Utah, technically, but it's
Okay.
located on 6.2 acres on Antelope Island.
Oh.
And Antelope Island is in the southeastern portion of the Great Salt Lake. It's not really an island anymore because we're in a drought and the water's depleting. And
We're running out.
yeah, the island is now a peninsula. So anyway, so when I say island, I mean peninsula, but we call it an island.
Have
All
you
right,
seen
so
antelope on there?
I've never been to Antelope Island ever in my life, ever
Really?
in my 28 years of breathing.
Can I tell you a stupid story?
Yes.
On mine and Josh's third year anniversary of dating, he
Hmm.
took me to Antelope Island, and I was like, this is it. This is when he's gonna ask me to marry him.
Oh
This is
yeah.
it, everybody. Watch out.
Yeah.
And first of all, what a stupid place to go for any reason.
I've heard that there's just a lot of bugs. That's like the number one thing that makes me not want to go there. Is the
It's
amount
just
of
a bunch of
bugs.
like dead, like grass, and then there's bison. That's basically it. That's the only thing that's there.
Antelope? There's no antelope?
I don't remember seeing antelope, but it's very possible that there was. And I was focused on other things.
Yeah, right.
But I remember being there and waiting. So we were taking pictures and, oh, it's our anniversary. This is so cute. And we love each other. It's so wonderful and whatever. But then we leave Antelope Island and nothing had happened. And I was like, this the entire way
Yeah.
home. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Mind you, I was only like 19. Okay. So like I was still
Yeah.
a baby.
But prime age for Utah to get married.
Yeah, but that is when girls get married and
Yes.
or they're either doing that or they're waiting to go on their mission.
Yeah.
But I was so mad and so sad. I was like, he's gonna break up with me. If he didn't
Like that
propose
was it. If there's ever gonna be an it moment, that
It's
was it.
now.
It's gone.
Yeah. But then like 3 months later, he proposed on Christmas Eve. But I was losing my mind.
No, he proposed on Christmas morning.
Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Yes. Christmas Eve, Heather went and brought me to get my nails done.
Mm.
Tipped me off a little.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like, why? And she was like, I'll pay. Just let's go get your nails done. I'm like, can't imagine why we'd want to do that.
Yeah, that's strange timing. Christmas
And
Eve.
also, why? Because like that's never
Yeah.
happened before.
That's not suspicious at all.
Yeah. Like, let me pay for myself. Just say, hey, I want to get my nails done.
Do you want to come with?
Go with me. Say your
Right.
nails look ratchet, please.
Unless
Fix
you
them.
wanted to be like, this is your Christmas gift. But she probably didn't phrase it like that.
Nope.
No.
Anyway, move on with your story. Okay.
Anyway,
Antelope
so
Island.
yeah. So they call the ranch that's there that we're talking about, they call it the Fielding Garr Ranch, or AKA the Garr Ranch.
Okay.
So back in 1845, two non-native men, aka just two white guys, named Kit Carson and John Fremont, were the first to quote unquote discover what is known as the Antelope Island.
Sorry, 1890?
1845.
1845. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm following.
Okay. So, which by the way, that's almost 200 years ago.
Time makes no sense.
That's like 180-ish, but it's like that's whoa, that light
Ghost.
came on.
Just kidding.
That was my kitchen light. Oh, there it goes again. That's kind of nice lighting though. Maybe I should just keep that on. Okay, anyway, so it's what was I saying?
It's I don't remember. Oh, time's weird.
Yeah, time, man. Right. Only 1 year later, after their wondrous discovery, a Mormon widow named Fielding Garr was instructed by his church leaders, aka the Mormon church leaders, to establish a ranch on the island to take care of the tithing herds, which I had never heard of a tithing herd until this story.
A tithing herd.
Yeah. So remember, like, okay, so in the LDS world, there's a thing called tithing where you have to give 10% or 1/10 of your money to the church.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, back before money was really their thing, they would give 10% of their cattle or 10% of their sheep or whatever. So that 10% went to Antelope Island to be raised by the church's guy that they appointed, I guess.
The widow that was lonely and wanted 10% of everybody's cows.
I didn't put his story into my notes, but if you want to look into Fielding Garr, he has kind of a sad backstory. I don't know how his wife died or what happened there, but I do know that he had 9 kids. One of them stayed in Indiana and didn't convert to Mormonism. So I don't know if it's because she was older and had like that choice to be like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going with you to Utah or going with you on this trek. Anyway, she stayed back, and Fielding and his other 8 kids came to Utah and like was here when the whole settlement happened with Brigham Young and everything. He is part of that crowd.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just kind of sad because it's like his daughter knew better. You know what I mean? She was like, "What are you doing? Don't go." You know, like
They
why
saw
are
the
you
crazy from a mile away.
exactly? So anyway, but that is his little bit of backstory, and so he was designated by the church to be the rancher. So him and his family, him and his kids went to the island to take care of all the cattle.
Okay.
Let's see. So the first permanent structure on the property was a log cabin that was built in 1848 by Fielding, and I'm assuming his kids helped him.
Mm-hmm.
Within 2 years, Fielding had expanded on the property by constructing an adobe ranch house as well as some stone corrals. And at that time, the ranch was about 28,000 acres.
Dang.
And they just raised sheep and cattle there.
Yeah.
And I saw somewhere that they at one point had about 20,000 sheep. So a ton.
Jeez. That's a lot to take care of.
Yeah. The island also was the home to a lot of antelope. So eventually it was named Antelope Island. Over the next 130 years, the ranch was used to raise money for the church. It started as a way to help fund what they called the Perpetual Emigration Fund, which helped European converts make their trek to Utah. So I don't know exactly how they would raise money other than just selling the cattle and sheep, or maybe like the meat that came from them or the wool. I don't know.
Oh,
But
okay.
they, at this ranch, however it worked out, they raised the money for like that was where like the tithing money came from to build churches and then also help people come across the Great Plains to come to Utah to be part of the church.
Okay.
So when a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, my ancestors are from Finland," you know, it's like, well, then how did they get to Utah? And it's like, well, they came across as a Mormon. You know, that's where a lot of people's ancestors come from Europe.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so where was I? So the Garr home was built in 1848 and was inhabited by the Garr family for about 20 years before it was purchased by a guy named John Dooley Sr., who is the creator and owner of a company called the Island Improvement Company. And that was in 1884. They took over the ranch, and in addition to managing the sheep and cattle, Julie recognized that there was an extreme worry that there was an extinction of bison. So in 1893, there was only about 1,000 known bison left in North America. So Julie purchased 12 of them and brought them to Antelope Island. And since then, the herd of bison has grown to about 600. So a lot of people, I think it's the anthropologists, they recognize this as like his efforts of helping the bison population.
Yeah.
Which that's probably what he wanted them to think. But then I also saw a lot of articles that was like, actually, he really wanted this to be like a place where people can do trophy hunting, you know, like not so much for the saving of wildlife. It was more for like the money, the sport. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so he owned it until the state of Utah purchased the island in 1981. So him or his family, they owned it for about 97 years.
Wow.
And this
Pretty
is kind
impressive.
of a fun, yeah, right? And this is kind of a fun fact, but while I was researching this story, I was looking up like what different wildlife was introduced to the island over that time, because it seems like it reintroduced a lot of like antelope that had kind of gone, like, there's not as much population there, coyote, some birds even. But I stumbled across an article that mentioned that in the late 1980s, a pink flamingo escaped a nearby aviary and made Antelope Island its home.
What?
And people petitioned and even raised money to they raised about $30,000 to see if the governor would allow someone to go get 25 more flamingos from South America and bring them to the Salt Lake so that our flamingo could have friends. Like, they're like, obviously he likes it here, but he needs to have some company, so we should get like 25 more. No kidding. People raised money for that, and they raised about $30,000 for it.
And it went nowhere, huh?
The governor said no. The article basically said, like, we really shouldn't be putting our efforts towards exotic animals in Utah. We should be trying to preserve the ones that are native here.
I guess, but why be logical?
You want to guess what they named this pink flamingo?
What?
Pink Floyd.
I love it. That is so funny.
It was funny. Actually, I have a quote here. In the Salt Lake Tribune article is where I found this. It said, quote, "Unfortunately, the idea didn't die. This March, Friends for Floyd offered to pay nearly $50,000 to bring 25 flamingos from South America and called on Utah's governor for support. Quote, some people believed we are doing this for Floyd," Platt told the Salt Lake Tribune, "but really, we're doing this for the human beings." Which made me laugh.
That is funny. Because yeah.
Yeah. It's like, Floyd, he does need some friends, but really, we just want to see more flamingos in
But
Utah.
wouldn't it be more like logical because he's from, like, flamingos aren't native to Utah, so wouldn't it make more sense to take one flamingo to South America instead of bringing 25 to Utah?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably the other half of the argument. Like, that's the wrong efforts, you guys. You're supposed to be helping him go home.
The logic is not what we're here for. Sorry.
Right. All right, so with most paranormal stories, you're probably wondering where the root of where the creep factor might be with this story.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you're a little close to the mic. It like muffles a little in some spots. Okay.
Okay, how's that?
That's good.
Okay. So, the root of a lot of the mysteries with Antelope Island centers around the fact that our friend Fielding Garr, when he died only 6 years after he moved onto the island, and nobody knows where he was buried.
Really?
Really? And in his records, it just says that he died of sickness on June 15th of whatever year it was.
6 years?
Yeah. So it's like, was he poisoned?
Did someone want his legacy of this?
I don't know. Who's to say? I don't know.
Fishy.
So we know from episode 2 that the Great Salt Lake is full of haunts and mysteries, possibly grave robbing ghost.
The weirdo who stole people's clothes for whatever reason.
Yeah. So possibly that, or the lake monster that's possibly there.
Mooney's
Water
family.
babies. Who knows? Who knows what it might be? But we're gonna zero in on Antelope Island itself, and specifically Fielding Garr Ranch, because it's full of paranormal mysteries. So people have claimed to have felt feeling watched and followed when they're on the island, especially when they're on the ranch property. Visitors claim to have been chased by an unseen person or animal, which sounds terrifying and also reminds me of the American Fork stories. You know,
Oh
because
yeah.
there were like somebody was camping and like it seemed like something ran through, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, what was that? It's like, I wonder if that, because that seems to happen a lot, especially outdoors, you know?
Yeah, it does. Is it
So,
because, okay, I've always thought that there's some kind of like phenomenon, I guess, where people who are in the wilderness or whatever, because it's not, I mean, there are people who go out and camp a lot, but like, I kind of feel like because you're not used to your surroundings being so open, I feel like your mind can play tricks on you, you
yeah,
know?
because you're
But
using
then,
instincts that you don't normally use,
yeah. And so, like, you
like
pay attention to
sights,
every
smell.
sound
Yeah.
and every whatever, and it may feel closer than it really is. It could be like it sounds like it runs right in front of you, but it's really like, I don't know, a
Yeah,
few
2 yards.
hundred. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I know what you mean.
I always wonder if that's like more, if that feeds into some stories, or if it like has anything to do with the paranormal part of it, or
Yeah,
both.
yeah.
Like
That's the thing
I
is
just
that
wonder.
you'll never know unless there's like a camera set up, you know,
Yeah,
where you can
exactly.
debunk it. But otherwise, if you're just telling the story afterwards, it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
who
know.
knows? I
Who
just
knows what
always
that was?
feel like when I'm outside in the mountains at night, like it is spooky. But is it because
Mhm.
I'm making it spooky in my
Mhm.
head, or is it because there's actually stuff out there? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
Then that also like opens up the argument of like, okay, well, if my brain is supposedly making it up, is it like making it up or is it like actually aware? Because it's smarter out here somehow. You know?
It's
Like,
like
what if
when
this is my
food,
natural state and I don't know it?
it's like when food tastes better in the mountains.
Yes.
You're like, my brain is smarter in the mountains too. Like, what?
Right, exactly. Right.
Well, look at this. Look at all these things that I know and
What,
experience.
I'm not meant to be in a car every day and driving at terrible, terrible speeds
I'm not
and sitting in
supposed
front of a computer all day long either.
to write these big boxes of freaking wood, and I'm just supposed to, clean it all the time.
Do
That's
you
what I'm
ever
meant
like,
to do.
do you ever think about all like the little things that we do as humans? It's like, why though? Like washing dishes, sometimes I'm just like, why am I having to do this? Like, or just the fact of like eating with utensils sometimes. I'm like, why waste the time? Just shovel it in your mouth, you know? I don't know.
Probably, probably just the fact of like, you know, is a little more messy if you use your hands.
I mean, it is, but it's also like we can wash our hands so much easier and faster than washing a fork.
You think so?
Yes, you just walk to the bathroom and wash your hands, but a fork, you put it in the sink, it stays there for 3 nights. Then you have to scrub all the spaghetti off of it or whatever. Then you put it in the dishwasher, and then before you know it, it's been a week before it gets back in this freaking drawer when all I had to do was just walk to the bathroom and wash my hands after I was done eating.
Please eat spaghetti
uh,
with your hands and tell me how it goes.
I think I might start because it's just so unnecessary. Okay, well, let me get back to my story.
Okay.
All right, so so some have claimed to have extreme mood changes when they're on the property as well. Uh, they even claim that like the mood changes aren't as bad like the further away you are from the ranch, but like when you're on the ranch property is when you notice that your mood is swinging more severely than normal.
Hmm.
The two emotions that people experience most often are extreme feelings of sadness and extreme feelings of disorientation.
What if he was drugged?
Ooh, maybe.
Like, what if, okay,
Like
either
poisoned and then drugged.
he was drugged and he just like died where he fell and they just left him there. I don't know. I feel like if he had 8 kids, one of them is bound to be like, oh, maybe we should have a funeral. But like,
Yeah, like
I
you would
guess
think.
not. Who took it over after he died? Do you know?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm assuming just like the oldest kid, or maybe the church, but like let the kids stay there. Because
hmm.
it was the church that owned it when Fielding Garr and his family like lived there. Like the church owned it, but they were there taking care of it because it's their
Okay.
calling.
But I wonder if he was drunk or if he was drugged.
Yeah,
But I think it's weird he doesn't have a marking of where his body
right,
is.
right. And yeah, it's like, wouldn't you think to have a funeral for him?
At
I don't
least
know.
the church would be like, hey, you've been serving us. Let's give you a
Yeah,
service of some kind.
right.
Unless they're so used to, after being on that trek, that they're so used to just letting people die on the side of the road and they're just like, well, we gotta go.
But then
It's
again,
time to move on.
being on an island though, you know, and like they already had a cemetery in Salt Lake at the time.
I mean,
Like they had that.
I don't know then. I wonder where I want to know what
Yeah,
happened to Fielding Gar.
me too. Me too.
That's a mystery for someone to solve that's smarter than us.
Yeah, what happened to Jean Baptiste and what happened to Fielding Garr?
Maybe there's a curse on the Salt Lake.
Maybe there is.
Like if you live too close to it,
You might
mysteries are
just,
afoot.
right. Maybe it's water babies
Or
or
that.
the lake monster.
Yeah.
Right.
Who knows? We don't, but
So, also, some people say that they have felt like they have been touched or tapped, pulled, or even scratched with no one being around them or being close enough to have done it to them. So, like
wow.
unexplainable taps and touches and scratches and things.
Hmm.
People have claimed to have seen shadowy figures on the shores of the lake and say that they fade away the longer that you look at them. Some claim that that shadowy figure is the ghost of Jean Baptiste, but some also say it could be Fielding Garr.
Yeah.
A paranormal investigation team called Broken Wings Paranormal recently did an investigation at the ranch and put their evidence on YouTube.
Oh, sweet.
One of the investigators starts with something along the lines of like, we're just here to ask some questions. We don't mean any harm. And they got an EVP back that sounds like it says, he is. Which I'm like, that's creepy.
That is very creepy.
Yeah, because it's like, are you talking about someone alive in the room wanting to do harm? Or are you talking about like an entity in the room wanting to do harm? You know,
That
it's
is
like,
so
okay, you might
scary.
not be, but he is. Ooh,
That
right?
is, I don't know how I feel about that. If I was
I
in the
know.
room, I'd be like, it is time for me to leave.
Yes, like me, not me. Well, then I'm gonna get out of here. They asked, or then they asked, are you, or are there any family members here? Then they received an EVP response that said, one.
Hmm.
At one point they asked, is John Julie Sr. here? And they got an EVP back that responded, yes, get out.
Wait, John Julie Sr., who's that?
John Dooley Sr. He's the second owner of the property.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the one that
Okay.
owned it for like 97 years and introduced
Okay.
my son.
Gotcha.
Right. So, so after they got those, they moved onto a bedroom, like I think it just adjacent to the living room that they were in. They go to the bedroom and they continued asking questions. One of them said, "Did you like living out here?" And they heard a response that said, "No."
Hmm.
Then they asked, "Did you have a favorite toy?" And I think they asked that because they assumed that was one of the kids' bedrooms.
Yeah.
Um, and they got an EVP response that said, "Knife." Yeah,
Knife?
knife.
There's
Ugh.
some dark stuff that's going on or
There,
that had gone on.
I did read that there was a rumor that somebody that worked on the property at some point, I don't know how long ago, there was a rumor that there was somebody on the property that would abuse children there.
Oh.
But I didn't look into who they were saying did that or at the time frame. I don't know.
Oh, dang.
I don't think they were talking about Fielding Garr though. Like it was like a worker of the ranch. It was like somebody.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, who knows? That is a theory slash conspiracy slash rumor. Carl Aldrich is an employee of the ranch who was quoted in a KSL news article, and he is quoted saying, "One day I was alone in my office, then I suddenly smelled a light and flowery woman's perfume, but nobody was around. I pulled out my phone, so I started recording audio, and I asked, 'What are you doing in my office?' It's very faint, but you can hear a voice saying, 'Looking for you.'"
Hmm.
Right?
You
Another
were
employee
sleepy.
said, right. Another employee said that one night they were closing up and they went through their nightly routine. Each night they close up everything, make sure everything is in its place, nice, neat, orderly. And the next day they came in because they were also opening that next day. So there was nobody that came in between when they left and when they came in the next morning. When they came in, they went into the kitchen. Well, first they noted that everything was exactly the way they left it. But when they went into the kitchen, all the cupboards were opened just about this much, about 2 inches away from the cupboard. So they're all open about 2 inches wide. And they said they're like the creepiest part about that is that a lot of those cupboard doors are very like sticky, like they're hard to like open,
Yeah.
let alone stay open that much without like closing on its own just from the weight of the door
Right.
or whatever. So, and all of them were the exact same amount open.
I think like having like I don't know what it is, but like the kitchens are
Yeah,
so creepy when like the doors or all the cupboards are open and the drawers are open. I don't know
right.
what it is, but that is so eerie to
It
me.
seems very emotional, you know?
Yeah.
Whether that's a sad emotion or an angry emotion or a happy emotion, you don't know. Because, like, the kitchen is like the heart of the home, right? That's what they
Yeah.
say. It's where everybody gathers. So, was that a good thing or was that a bad thing? And
Is
that's
it
different in
windy
every
there?
house. Huh?
Is it windy there?
Uh, I mean, breezy a little. Why? What?
The the leaf behind you keeps moving.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little breezy. Not like
Okay.
windy, but it's breezy.
Okay. Enough that it would move that. It's moving your hair. So probably.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It was freaking me out because it was moving and I was like,
Well, the last time we recorded the On Deck at Dusk episode, you freaked me out because you're like, "What is that? What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know."
I'm
I
like
don't
so aware of
know.
your surroundings just because I'm like that
Well,
one thing.
and I have it set up on my screen so that you are like the majority of my screen, and then I am just like a little 1.5 inch square at the top, you know?
Oh,
So I don't really see a lot of detail. So if you see
okay.
something, you tell me.
Okay.
I'm
Well, I
not
did
looking.
see a quivering of a leaf behind you, so you do
Okay.
with that what you will.
Okay, I'm just gonna say that's the wind.
I bet it is because your hair is crazy. So.
Yeah, it's just the wind.
Okay, go
So,
ahead.
another paranormal investigation team that frequently goes out there is a team known as WASP, and that stands for Western Association for the Science of the Paranormal. And
That's
they
a
have a
whole
YouTube
lot of
channel.
words.
It is. And it was funny because I'm like, I've never heard of these guys. And then I was looking into them and I'm like, I feel like I should have heard about these guys because they have a lot of investigations.
Oh,
Like they've done Alcatraz,
oh,
like places like that. So I'm like, huh. Anyway, so if you want to look into them, I highly suggest it. So that's WASP. The channel that I was looking at was WASP Utah. So I don't know if they have like different states or if they're from Utah. I don't know. But
okay.
anyway, a paranormal investigator named Chris Harmon has come to the property several times over the last years and claims that each time he has a completely different experience. In a KSL article, he said that he did an investigation back in 2019 and said they were setting up outside and they heard something running towards them and even saw the grass moving, but there was absolutely nothing there. So it goes back to like that thing of like, did they imagine it or not? But it's like in that case, he saw the grass moving, as if there would be something
Oh,
running through.
so eerie.
It really is. Chris said during that investigation, some of the investigators went into the nearby woods, and while they were in there, they were both scratched by something unseen. And the creepiest part about that is that they were both scratched in the exact same place on their shoulder.
Whoa.
Yeah. In October of 2021, so about a year ago, Chris and his team went back to Fielding Garr Ranch for another investigation. They were accompanied by, their investigators, a medium. They had a Reiki specialist, a Wiccan, Carl Aldrich, the ranch manager, and a KSL investigator and a KSL photojournalist. So a whole
Oh,
crew of different kinds of people.
yeah.
They really got a lot of evidence that was really spooky. And so I'm just going to go through a bunch of that. But just as they were setting up, they started getting, or they captured an EVP of a groan and a word that said hello. It's like
Hmm.
right as they were setting up. After a bit, they whipped out a word generating PX Ovulus puck device, and right away it became super active. One of the investigators asked, "What is your name and how old are you?" And the device responded with 15. After
Hmm.
that, they moved on to the woods because I guess after that, like nothing really happened after they got that answer. Um,
Okay.
the team moved out into the woods to see if they could capture anything. And at first, one of them started to complain of a really bad headache, and the Ovulus puck started rattling off like different ominous words like hide, beware, and hostile.
Jeez.
So I'm gonna send you a link of a YouTube video that I want you to go to.
Okay.
Okay, now I want you to go to 1 minute 30 seconds
Okay.
and then hit pause.
1 minute, 30 seconds.
Yes. And for the listeners, I'm just going to explain what's happening and then April will watch it and then give her reaction. So
Okay.
the
Pause.
camera, so in the video, the camera seems to be stopped or strapped up into a tree. It's like out in the woods and it's strapped up in a tree, kind of like a trail cam situation. And when you hit play, April, you're going to hear like a leaves crunching sound, like as if something is walking or moving, which could be the investigators, but they never really explain that. But then a possible EVP comes up, and I want to see if you can identify what the EVP is.
Okay.
It's the whole clip that I want you to listen to is like maybe 15 seconds
Okay.
before you hear it, or when you hear it.
Did you want us to come here?
Okay, I gotta start over. Hold on. I can't tell. It sounds like a hiss.
Yeah, so that's how it ends, is like with the hissing sound.
Yeah.
But it's an EVP of what sounds like "hear my voice," and the at the end is kind of like a hissing sound. It's like "hear
Yeah.
my voice." It's creepy.
That is very creepy.
Yeah.
That is like so. Hold on one more time.
Did you want us to come?
I don't know. Like
Yeah.
all those like recordings like are hard for me because I can't.
Well, I heard it loud and clear on my phone. You should see
Oh,
if
you
you can,
did?
yeah, like maybe like after we're done recording, you can try pulling it up on your computer or something. But and I'll definitely put this on either Instagram if I can, or I'll insert it in the episode so you guys can hear it. But it's very creepy.
It is very, yeah. It's ominous sounding.
It really is. So then, after you hear my voice, you hear the investigator ask, "Did you want us to come here?" And then you hear an EVP here. You hear someone say yes.
Ugh.
So now I want you on that same video to fast forward to 1 minute 55 seconds.
Okay.
And at this part in the video, it's the same camera angle, and you don't see anybody. It's just like an outward view of the woods.
Mhm.
And you can hear people talking in the background, and they're sitting there, and one of them suddenly feels like they're being scratched. And as they're talking about it, you hear a sinister laugh.
Okay.
See if you can hear it.
Okay.
I see the goosebumps, but I'm not seeing any scratches.
No.
Did you hear it?
Yes.
Isn't that creepy?
Hold on.
I see the goosebumps, but I'm not seeing any scratches.
There's no effing way.
That's creepy,
so
huh?
creepy.
Yeah, so I'll see if I can insert that in the episode too, because that was just super creepy. And again, that is, let me go back. Make sure I plug in the right. So that's the WASP Paranormal, or WASP Utah Paranormal team. So if you guys want to check that out, it's their Fielding Garr investigation from October of 2021. I highly recommend it. It was really, really good. So some investigators over the years have said that if you stand outside on the shore at night, you'll hear wailing sounds as if somebody is crying, or like an infant is crying out in the water asking for your help.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of people think that that's water babies.
Yeah.
The end.
Freaking hearing sounds in the hallway behind me, and I'm like freaked out now. That laugh got me.
Yeah. That sounds like the devil.
Yeah.
That sounds like the devil laughing.
What's so funny?
Yeah.
I don't like it. Oh,
Well, anyway.
good one. That was
Thanks.
a good one.
Thanks. Yeah, you too.
Thanks. So we'll see how it goes. But I hope that I survive this cruise endeavor.
You will. And we can't wait to hear about it when you get back. It's gonna be a great time.
That'll be fun. I just have a lot of anxiety. So this week I'm gonna be such a little brat because I'm like panicking on all fronts. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyways,
Well, good luck.
thanks.
And to everybody listening, thanks for listening.
Yeah, hey, thanks.
Join our Patreon if you want to get exclusive access to our video episodes and our On Deck at Dusk episodes. We're getting into the Halloween season, so we're gonna have April just did a true crime episode which came out on September 1st, and then I am gonna have a paranormal story October 1st. So every other month is going to be paranormal or true crime. And
Mhm.
it's international stories. So they're like stories that are bigger and scarier. So it's a great time. So join our
Yeah.
Patreon if you want to do that and have free merch and that kind of stuff. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and share us to your friends and family. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Good one. Good outro, Katie.
thank
I
you.
botch it every time.
No, I
I'm
was
like,
just trying to remember of everything and like what's the next thing. Like we should have this down by now.
I know. Well, we should, but I mean, we do have some stuff on our website also. We have merch you can purchase if you don't want to do Patreon. We have keychains. We have a
Yes.
card charm from our episode 1.
Right.
We have beanies. And is that it? Is that all we got?
I think so.
Keychains
Did you
and
see
beanies.
stickers?
I don't think we have the stickers on the for purchase. I think we just have them for our Patreon people to
Oh,
go in their little happy mail. So,
yes. Perfect.
you know,
All right. Well, see you guys for episode 28 in a couple weeks.
if I survive it. Okay.
Yep. All right. Good luck.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.